Welcome to yoga. Thank you for joining me. My name is Laura Hegland with TC Fit. For today's class, you'll need some flat floor space and hopefully a quiet environment. Practice at your own speed, and if any movements that you're doing just don't feel right, listen to your body. Let's begin by taking a seat on our mat. Allow your hands to rest lightly against your knees. Feel free to sit cross-legged. If you'd like to roll your mat up to give yourself some height underneath your hips, you're welcome to do so. We enter our yoga practice by giving ourselves a few moments of breath. Breath is the life that gives our body movement. As you inhale, bring your breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, let your breath flow back out through your nose as well. Notice the rise and the expansion of your lungs and your ribs, letting your belly expand with your breath. As we sit and breathe, I challenge you to bring your mind to the moment that we're in. Feel your breath. Let your focus be on what your body is feeling and doing in this moment. As your breath comes in through your nose, imagine reaching into the darkest corners of your lungs, the bottom of your ribcage towards the back of your body. With each exhale, notice how your center just sort of sinks, softens. Feel free to close your eyes if that allows you to quiet your mind and be more present inside your body. Continue your breathing, inhaling, connecting each breath with one another, exhaling. We use these few moments of breath at the beginning of class as a buffer between what you were doing and what you're doing now. You've given yourself the gift of time to give your mind a respite, and to give your body movement. Hopefully movement that's unique, different from other parts of your day. Allow yourself 5 more full breaths in and out, slowing with each breath. As you finish your 5th inhale and exhale, I invite you to bring your hands to heart center. Palms pressing against one another, hands directly in front of our chest. This is heart center, your heart being your body's center of energy. From here, clasp your fingers and stretch your arms up overhead, reaching as tall as you are able. And from here, let's reach our hands up and over towards one side, keeping both sit bones anchored to our mat. And as we create this seated side bend, we feel length along the side of our body, through our shoulder, our rib cage, all the way down towards our hip that's anchoring us to our mat. Bring ourselves up tall and create that seated side bend to the opposite side. growing tall to the center, and taking this once more to each side. As we grow tall back into the center, we bring our hands back to heart center. We're going to stay in our seated position for a little bit of rotation. From our heart center, let's bring our arms up, spreading our hands, and rotating to one side. Taking our vision off and back towards our back shoulder. Stretching our arms up, inhaling to bring our hands back into heart center. And again, reaching tall, allowing our hands to separate and creating rotation. Draw your arms back up overhead. And we'll take this pattern again 3 more times to each side, but increasing our tempo. So stretching up and rotating, reaching up and back into heart center. Inhaling tall, exhaling to rotate, inhaling to stretch back into heart center, and exhaling to pull our hands back in. One more time to each side, inhaling, stretch tall, exhaling to rotate, inhaling to reach, and exhaling to hands at heart center. One last time. Good. From here, let's reconvene on all fours, so bringing our hands underneath our shoulders and knees underneath our hips. In this all fours position, we can have hands flat with fingers spread wide. If it's more comfortable for your wrists, you're welcome to take that flat wrist position with fingers underneath us, knuckles reaching into the floor. From here, we move into cat and cow, pairing our breath with our movement as well, allowing a big inhale into cat and exhale into cow. Inhaling, expanding the spine. Exhaling, reaching our belly button for the sky, rounding our head and our tail underneath us. And move at your own speed. When you're moving faster or slower than I'm cueing, take that pace. Whatever feels right for you and your body today. Every time we visit our mat, bodies, our minds are in a different place, and it's okay to respect that each time we practice. Imagine if you had a tail, you're trying to point your tail up towards the sky. And as we exhale, we create that rounded cat spine, so scaredy cat. And you have the go-ahead to accentuate these positions as much as your spine is comfortable with. Let's take 2 more passes through both cat and cow. And as we complete our last shape, we step our hands further out and in front of us and allow the hips to reach forward as well. This is modified plank if you want. If you're interested, that you're able, you're welcome to take it to high plank position. In this shape, we have our spine in a really long, lengthened shape, straight line from the crown of our head through our spine, through our hips, all the way down to our feet. We want to avoid bending or arching our spine. From here, lower slow, elbows sliding right at our sides as we bring our bodies down towards the mat and taking cobra position. Cobra is hands light. If you had to, you could lift your hands, so it's like a snake lifting its head to look where it's going. Feeling all the musculature along our spine, contracting, working to lift our upper body into this arched shape. From here, we turn our toes underneath us, press our hips up and back, and reach for the sky with your tail. Downward facing dog. In this shape, we give ourselves a little bit of grace. Pedal out your feet. There's so much length happening at the back of the body. Hamstrings, calves, our ankles, through our hips. And with our upper body, we're aiming to sort of open that line through the shoulder, avoiding an angle. We want to be nice and open. Heels of the hands reaching into the ground ahead of us, fingers spread wide. Imagine making enough space between your ears and your shoulders. We've got good movement. And we'll take this little series again, bringing our shoulders out over our hands. This is half series, high plank or knee plank. Lowering slow, in control. And at this one, we can take cobra, or we can take upward facing dog, whichever feels more appropriate for your body. I'm going to stick with cobra. And from here we turn our toes under and press our hips back up and into downward facing dog. We move into our sun salutation. From here, let's bring our feet towards our hands. You can walk your feet up. You can hop your feet. And from here we let our head hang heavy, hands aiming to stay near the floor as best as possible. Forward fold. From our forward fold, slide the hands up the shins, lengthening our spine, creating a long, flat shape from the crown of our head to our sit bones. Monkey. And forward fold again. From our forward fold, we stretch our fingers out wide, lifting our chest. We're passing through that monkey shape that we were just in, into mountain. Our first visit to mountain being as tall as we can possibly be. We're going to create that side bend that we did seated earlier. So clasping our hands, fingers together, all but our index fingers. And from here we stretch up and over. Breathe in to come to the center. And exhale. Create side bend. And allow yourself a little more movement with each visit from side to side. Try to make each one a little bit bigger than the last. Inhaling, stretching up and over. Exhaling into bend. Let's take two more to each side, stretching up and over. Notice what your body's feeling. Is one side tighter than the other? Does this movement sort of feel fluid or creaky? Where are you at today? As we come back to center, we'll draw the hands back into heart center. We give you a profile view again. From our mountain pose, we sink our hips back and down into chair pose. We want to have a nice straight back to our chair. We want to avoid letting our spine round, so we bring that long length from the very crown of our head, top of our skull, down to our spine, out our sit bones. Inhaling to stretch tall, and as our hands separate, we hinge forward in our hips, meaning our spine stays super straight as we tip forward. And again, take that monkey shape, creating length along the back of the legs, and forward fold. Let's plant our hands and allow our feet to step or hop back into our plank position. High or low plank, knees elevated or on the mat. Slow, controlled lower. Inhale, lifting into our cobra or monkey. And exhale, press back. Let's find child's pose. Knees wide, big toes towards one another. You can allow your forehead to find the mat, or you can hover your face right above your mat. Hands stretched out wide, reaching out and in front of us. And let's bring it back to our breath. From the very beginning of class, reach your breath deep, wide, and to the back side of your lungs. And
Try to touch your breath to the inside edge of your shoulder blades. Not a space inside our bodies that we think about much. But our brain uses our breath as an interpreter of what kind of environment we're in. If we can continually feed our mind the stimulus of big, deep breath, our mind, our brain interprets that as that the environment that we're in is safe, it's controllable, and we can relax into what we're doing, rather than being tense and being on and being worried. We can just be right here, giving our bodies what they need. Let's take our half series again in a more full speed version, meaning we're moving one breath to one movement. If your breath is off from what I'm cueing, that's okay. Just keep breathing, keep moving, and avoiding holding your breath. We will reconvene in our child's pose after 3 rounds of sun salutation. We begin with our half series as our high to low plank. Draw our shoulders up and over our hands. On an inhale, we hold, getting ready. Exhale, slow lower. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, press back, down dog. Inhale, step or hop the feet forward towards the hands. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift monkey, bringing up the speed of movement. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep and reach high into mountain. Exhale, sink into chair. Inhale, sweep and reach. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift monkey. Exhale, folds. Inhale, plant your hands, step your feet back into tie plank. Exhale, slow lower. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, press back, down dog. Inhale, step or hop the feet forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up tall into mountain. Exhale, sink into chair. Inhale, sweep and reach. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, plant our hands, step our feet back. Exhale, slow lower. 2 rounds done, 1 to go. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, press back, down dog. Inhale, step or walk towards your hands. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift monkey. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive into mountain. Exhale, sinking into chair. Inhale, sweep and reach, warming up the body. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift, finishing our final monkey. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step our feet back. Exhale, lower into cobra. Inhaling, cobra. Whoops. Exhale, press back, find child's pose. Notice the speed of your breath. Is it moving more quickly than it was before we began our sun salutation series? My assumption is yes. We've asked the body to move from high to low repeatedly, bringing warmth up in our blood flow, preparing our bodies for more challenging movements. Remember, this is your time. If you need more time in child's pose, take it. Do what feels right for your body. We move through our warrior sequence before finishing with some hip openers and then into final relaxation. From our child's pose, let's lift our hips high and find downward facing dog. Hopefully you feel like you can settle into this shape a little bit more now that we've been moving. Let's begin with our left leg today. If you would like to stretch your leg high to the sky, you're welcome to do so. We'll add a little bend, create a nice open shape through our hip. Drawing our knee towards our nose and planting our foot up near our hands. and allowing our back heel to spin and find the mat. Stretching our hands tall into warrior one. In this warrior one shape, we want to make sure we feel that nice, strong, straight back leg. Big lift of the kneecap up towards our hip. Our weight is evenly distributed through our front foot, and our back foot has a strong arch, not permitting our arch to collapse into the mat. Fingertips are reaching tall with our shoulders out of our ears, rib cage as much over our hips as we are able. From our warrior two, let's settle our arms parallel with our mat. I challenge you to sink a little lower. Yes, you can. Shoulders again relaxed away from our ears. Front knee tracking right out over the middle of the front toe, middle toe of our front foot. It's easiest to sort of let that knee collapse. We want to make sure it stays lined up with our foot. From here, let's flip our front palm. So shift up and back, reaching over, finding reverse warrior. In this shape, you've got choices with this back arm. You can let your back arm land on your back leg. You can reach your arm back and behind you. If you can clasp your hands, creating a bind for the shoulders, you're welcome to take that option. My shoulders aren't built that way, and that's okay. Hold, balance, and be here. Notice all the things that are feeling working, helping to hold us in this shape. From our reverse warrior, pretend like you're doing a cartwheel with your arms. Windmill, finding a mat with our right hand, left hand, stepping our front foot back to meet our back foot, which lands us in our plank position again. Knees can come to the mat. Controlled slow lower half series, cobra or upward facing dog. And again, press up and back, down dog. From our downward facing dog, let's stretch our right leg high to the sky. If you'd like, that's an option. You don't have to take that option. Knee bend, creating some nice length through places that don't see length very often. Maybe not as adults. Let's draw our knee towards our nose, planting our foot up by our hands, and stretching into warrior one. Taking note of where the knee is tracking in our front leg, making sure it's right over the center of our foot. Back kneecap reaching up towards our hip. Trying to open our shoulders as best we can to the front of our mat. Fingers stretching tall, shoulders relaxed out of our ears, and rib cage over our hips as best we can. Creating nice alignment with all of our parts. Coordination. Strength, balance, all things that help us lead a positive, strong life. Settle our arms parallel to the mat, warrior two, vision out over the front middle finger. I challenge you to sink a little lower. Keep your weight evenly distributed in your front foot as you do so. Front palm faces the sky. We shift back, up and over, reaching sort of that side bend shape that we've been practicing. Up and over, back arm again landing on the back leg, or you can take it behind the body. Hello. Creating a bind with your arms if you'd like. From our reverse warrior, let's windmill our arms back to the mat. And from here, as your hands find the mat, take your front leg and tuck it underneath you. You can keep the chest high. This is modified pigeon. In our pigeon pose, the front knee can be sort of tucked underneath this front leg as much as is comfortable for you and your knee and your hip. We should be creating a nice big stretch to that back hip, that glute area in and around our hip socket. We can stay tall here. If you'd like to settle in a little lower, bringing our forearms to the mat. You can even rest your forehead on your hands if you'd like. Today for my system, that up tall position feels really nice. I'm going to stay there. Just like we finished the beginning of our class with breath, in our pigeon pose, we also breathe. As we inhale, just imagine a balloon blowing up. And then as we exhale, just try to settle your stretch into the space that we just created. Allowing length to happen with every exhale. Let's finish this side with pigeon. Taking 2 more big breaths, getting as much length as we can tolerably manage in our right hip. From our pigeon pose on the right side, if you've got your forehead down low, let's lift the chest up tall, meet me where I'm at. And from here, turn your back toe under, press your hands strong into your mat, and step your front foot back and into plank. From here, we draw the left knee forward, settling our front leg underneath us, trying to recreate approximately the same positioning with this left side that we had with our right. It's kind of an interesting time to take note of how similar or different each side feels. We are creatures of habit, so it's very common to have differences in strength or length on each side. Very common. Hate to break it to you, but you're not perfect. Wink, wink. Be here, feel your breath, and sink with each exhale. From here, let's press our hands strong into the ground, turning our back toe under to bring ourselves back up and find our final downward facing dog of the day. From our down dog, let's bring our knees forward, spin yourself around, and comfortably, controlled, slow, at your own pace, bring it down, and rock from side to side. And draw your knees up and in towards your chest. If you'd like, you can bring your hands wide, finding happy baby, and rocking from side to side. It's like a little kiddo that just figured out that their feet are their own. They are attached. They get a hold of them. Create all sorts of length through the hips, inside edges of the front leg. Let's bring our knees back together. Grab behind our knees and draw our forehead up towards our knees. Make yourself as small and as compact as you can. Before letting the body go, and find a very comfortable position for your body. In Final Shavasana, we think of this as corpse pose, so the death of our yoga practice. It's our time to just reflect and relax and enjoy the relaxed state that we've created physically and mentally inside our bodies. I encourage you to stay here for as long as you are able, as you'd like, as is feasible. I sort of think of Final Shavasana as the treat at the end of the yoga meal. Be here, enjoy your breath.
Again, stay as long as you'd like, and thank you for joining me. Namaste.